Imagine that your life is perfect. Now imagine voluntarily giving away all your savings, isolating yourself from your family forever, enduring daily torture, and even being genuinely thrilled when your limb gets hacked off with a kitchen knife. Think that could never happen to you? In this video, we'll walk through the 6 creepy stages of how this psychological trap slams shut. From a warm smile to absolute pitch black darkness. And right at the very end, you'll find out something that will literally make your blood run cold. There are a ton of terrifying cults out there in the world. There was the People's Temple, which forced hundreds of its followers to drink poison in the jungle. There was Charles Manson's quote, Zero, which drowned Hollywood in blood. There was the infamous Aum Shinrikyo with its subway gas attacks. And the crazy Heaven's Gate looking for salvation on the tail of a comet. But today we're talking about the most brutal, twisted, and horrific group whose crimes simply don't fit into the mind of a sane person. Let's be real, nobody ever wakes up early in the morning with a firm decision to go join a creepy cult and voluntarily become a disenfranchised slave. It all starts completely differently, wrapped in a haze of illusions. You just show up to a free self-development seminar, deep meditation courses, or a wildlife lovers meetup. They greet you there like they've been waiting for you your whole life. You get completely love-bombed. Total strangers shower you with genuine compliments, give you all their attention, and surround you with absolute care. But you're not an idiot to just agree to everything right away, right? Your brain is still working, and a logical thought keeps flashing. Something is off here. They're way too perfect, way too kind. What's the catch? What do they want from me? It's like going on a Tinder date and finding out the person not only perfectly matches their photoshopped pics, but they also have 0 crazy exes, an ideal personality, and a fully paid off mortgage downtown. It sounds incredibly sus, but it feels so damn good that you decide to stick around and see what happens next. And this is where things smoothly start to shift. The cult leader, a charismatic Canadian named rochtheriault, didn't invite people to death, suffering, or torture. He offered them salvation from the impending apocalypse, a return to their roots, to pure nature and absolute love. And it wasn't some street burnouts who bought into it. It was smart, educated people, doctors, lawyers, and teachers. Mesmerized by his passionate sermons, they ditched their comfy apartments, cars, and careers and followed him deep into the freezing woods of Quebec to build their own personal paradise, an independent, isolated commune. You're invited to head into the endless woods and just vibe, forgetting about taxes, mortgages, and alarms. It sounds like the most epic best friend team building of your life. Campfires at night, fresh air, acoustic guitar jams, and you're hyped to build this perfect utopian commune with your new buddies. But to make you believe in basically anything, your critical thinking needs to be completely shut down. The whole woodland romance quickly turns into hardcore hard labor. You're working 18-hour days, chopping down trees and building wooden barracks in the freezing, piercing wind. Extreme diets are enforced. Minimum protein, mostly just empty carbs and scavenged roots. You're allowed to sleep maybe 3 or 4 hours a day on bare wooden planks. You know, you're constantly starving, eating straight up grass, catching 3 hours of sleep, and endlessly listening to some dude's monotonous, delusional lectures. Sounds like a typical finals week for a college freshman, except nobody is giving you a degree at the end, and dropping out is no longer an option. Your chronically exhausted, depleted brain loses its ability to analyze. You stop arguing with the absurd ideas because you literally don't have the physical energy left to even put together a coherent thought. Then, the group starts methodically and aggressively isolating you from the outside world. The leader gently but firmly explains that your parents, relatives, and old friends are low vibration people. They are toxic, infected by the demons of the consumer world, and are dragging you down, blocking your spiritual enlightenment. Any attempt by your family to contact you, any criticism from them, is framed as an attack by absolute evil. You are brainwashed into believing your only real family is the commune, and you, with your own 2 hands, burn the bridges and cut off all contact with the actual people who could have saved you. You're left in a ringing information vacuum, locked in a remote forest where the one and only source of truth becomes rochtheriault. Your past quote 3 is officially declared not just wrong, but deeply dirty and sinful. A total wipe of your personality and the destruction of your ego begins. Every morning, you're forced to stand in the middle of a circle in front of the whole commune and publicly confess, in excruciating detail, your most shameful deeds, secret desires, and deepest fears. Every word you say is logged to later become a tool for ruthless blackmail. You're handed a new foreign name and forced to wear the same baggy robes to kill off any individuality. And then you sign over absolutely all your remaining assets, apartments, cars, and bank accounts to the cult's fund. You're giving all your life savings to a sketchy, bearded dude in the Canadian woods. A brilliant financial plan, you gotta admit. The only thing safer would be dumping it into new crypto pyramid schemes based on a drunk Uber driver's secret tip. The person with your old name doesn't exist anymore. There is only a faceless working cog inside a giant anthill. Listen, this is where it gets totally unhinged. At the very end of any cultist's life, there is one thing waiting: the sacrifice. YouTube will instantly nuke this video if I show it here. That's why I dropped the most gruesome, uncensored finale with the real bloody details on our Telegram channel, link in the description. The mask of the Holy Savior finally slips entirely. What seemed like complete madness to you a year ago has now become your daily routine. Brutal physical punishments start for the smallest slip-ups, looking the wrong way, sitting wrong, working too slow. The leader calls it, quote, 4. You are forced to sit naked in the freezing cold for hours or swallow dead rats. Rock takes total control over the intimate lives of his followers, deciding who sleeps with whom, and taking children away from their mothers. And you take it. You genuinely believe it. You deserve this pain. You are a sinner, and only through unbearable suffering will you reach God. Your survival instinct is paralyzed by primal fear. Can you survive when the violence crosses the line of human comprehension? Theriault declares himself a master surgeon. With zero anesthesia, using basic kitchen knives, drills, and construction saws, he starts performing actual operations on his followers. He rips out teeth with pliers and breaks bones with a hammer. And you, lying on this blood-soaked wooden table, writhing in agonizing, body-tearing pain, thank him through your tears for doing it. One girl gets her arm hacked off with a meat cleaver just as a punishment for having doubts. Sounds like the worst trip to a free public dentist, except instead of a copay, you're handing over your life. Your psyche is completely obliterated. Pain is your only language of communication with the world. But what has to happen for this bloody nightmare to finally drop from your eyes? The point of no return is crossed. The leader decides to perform stomach surgery on one of his pregnant followers. She thrashes in horrific agony and dies right there on the table, while you're forced to stand there, watch her suffer, and keep working. Theriault has convinced you guys that the physical body is just a piece of rotting meat. You experience a twisted ecstasy from total submission and death. But it's exactly this primal animalistic horror that becomes the trigger. Gabrielle, the woman with the amputated arm, finds the very last shreds of her willpower. She escapes through a blizzard and makes it to the cops. The illusion shatters. And you can watch the video about even more horrific, uncensored sacrifices on my Telegram. Subscribe, drop a like, and check out these other videos too. The stories there are even scarier. Peace out.